Hey everybody, Mr. Regan here, and today we're looking at our second sim question that deals with our three different objects, similar to our last question. So, which of our three objects experienced the weakest force when it was hit? So, if we're looking at our diagram here, we have our objects A, B, and C. Before and after they were hit, we need to decide which one had the weakest force. And our options are object A and B, object B and C, or all of our objects experience the weakest or the same amount of force. So if we're looking at our diagrams here, we see that our object's velocity clearly changed from before they were hit to after they were hit. And when we look at our objects, we can see that all of our objects have the same exact mass. A, B, and C are all a mass of 1 kilogram. Now, object A, B, and C, when we look at their velocity data, went through some different velocity changes. When we look at our green object, object A, it started with a velocity of 3, changed to a velocity of 0, so it stopped. We look at object B, before it was hit, it was moving with a velocity of 4, and after it was hit, it had a velocity of 1, so our object slowed down. And then we have object C. Object C had a velocity of 0, and then it had a velocity of 3 after it was hit, so it started moving. So each of our objects had a different velocity change. Object A stopped moving by a velocity of 3. Object B slowed down by a velocity of 3. And object C started moving with a velocity of 3. So looking at our object's mass, their starting and ending velocity, and their velocity change, we got to decide which of our objects had the weakest force. Was it A and B, B and C, or all of them experienced the same force? Take a second, answer your question, pause the video, and restart the video when you're ready to go over the answer. All right, do we think we have the answer? Let's take a look. So we know that a strong force can cause a greater change in velocity. So a weaker force would cause a smaller change in velocity. So if we're going to decide which object had the weakest force, we got to figure out who had the smallest change in velocity. To do that, we got to look at how their velocity changed. So object A went from 3 to 0. So it changed by 3. Object B went from 4 to 1. It changed by 3. Object C went from 0 to 3, and it changed by 3. So when we're looking at how all three of our objects changed, all three of our objects didn't have a greater change or a smaller change in velocity. They actually had the exact same change in velocity. All of them changed by 3. Just because one object sped up or slowed down or started moving or stopped moving doesn't matter. The reason it doesn't matter is because all of our objects have the same mass. They're all the same object. So this could be 3 ping pong balls. This could be 3 golf balls. It doesn't matter. All three objects experience the same strength force because they all change their velocity the same. So if we're looking at our answer here, the best answer is option 3. All objects A, B, and C experienced the same force. And we can see that because when we run our sim, all three objects experience a force of 30, causing the velocity changes that we see. So if you got the question right, congrats. If you got it wrong, no big deal. Fix your answer. If you have questions or want to go over it, make sure you reach out. Otherwise, good luck with the rest of the questions.